Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. Let's take up the daily quiz for today. The first question, which of the following statements are correct? United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Peasants was adopted as a UNGA resolution in 2018. It deals with the rights of peasants, farmers, indigenous people, and other people working in rural areas. India is not a signatory to this declaration. Amongst the given statements, the third statement is incorrect, so option C is the right answer. The UN Declaration on the Rights of Peasants and Other People Working in Rural Areas deals with a set of basic labor rights and human rights of peasants, farmers, and indigenous people and other people who are working in the rural areas. This proposal was initiated by the UN Human Rights Council and later it was adopted as a resolution by the UN General Assembly in 2018. And India is one of the signatories to this declaration. Hence, the third statement is incorrect, so option C would be the right answer. This question has been asked because in today's The Hindu newspaper, we have an article on page number 4 that makes a reference to the UN Declaration on the Rights of Peasants. An NGO that represents the interests of farmers has taken a stand against India's controversial farm laws, and it has raised the issue at the United Nations Human Rights Council. It has argued at the UNHRC that India's new farm laws, they violate the basic rights that are guaranteed under the UN Declaration on the Rights of Peasants. And it has said that India is bound to protect these rights of the farmers as India is a signatory to this declaration. Now let's look at the second question. This protected area is both a national park and a tiger reserve and is a part of a biosphere reserve. It is home to several threatened species including tigers, elephants, and it is recognized as an important bird area. The Jainu Kurubas are the primary inhabitants of this forest area and they are traditional food gatherers and honey collectors. It was also an exclusive hunting reserve of the kings of the Wadayar dynasty. Which protected area does the above description refer to? Amongst the given options, the correct answer would be option C, the Nagarhole National Park and Tiger Reserve. This protected area is a part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve and it has been recognized as an important bird area by BirdLife International. Earlier, it was an exclusive hunting reserve for the kings of the Wadayar dynasty and it is also a home to a native indigenous group known as the Jainu Kurubas, whose traditional occupation is to collect food and honey. This important protected area stretches across the Kodagu and Mysuru districts of Karnataka and it is home to several threatened species of animals and birds. This question on the Nagarhole National Park and Tiger Reserve was asked because it finds a mention in an article in The Hindu that deals with man-animal conflict in the Nagarhole protected area involving wild elephants. The increasing developmental pressure on the habitat of elephants has resulted in an increase in the incidence of man-animal conflict in the Nagarhole National Park and Tiger Reserve, leading to wild elephant attacks on nearby agricultural fields and habitations. So in order to minimize these incidents of man-animal conflict, the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, along with the Karnataka Forest Department, they have taken up an initiative known as Project Rehab, which stands for Reducing Elephant-Human Attacks Using Bees. This idea stems from the fact that elephants have a proven fear of the bees, and the KVIC has proposed to set up bee fences around the protected area to keep the wild elephants away from human habitations. This initiative, known as Project Rehab, has been taken up as a sub-mission of the KVIC's National Honey Mission. Now let's look at the third question. Which of the following statements are correct? The Great Indian Bustard is considered as one of the heaviest flying birds on the planet. These birds are often found associated with the same habitat as the black buck. It is listed as critically endangered on the IUCN Red List. All the three statements are correct. Option D is the right answer. See, the Great Indian Bustard is one of the heaviest flying birds on the planet and it is native to the Indian subcontinent. Historically, it was found across India and Pakistan and it is found in the arid, semi-arid open grasslands of the Indian subcontinent. Historically, this bird was found across several Indian states, including Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, parts of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, UP, Punjab, Haryana, and even Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh. But today, just a few hundred birds remain in the wild, and the only surviving large group can be found in Rajasthan and Gujarat. It is estimated that in Rajasthan and Gujarat, hardly around 150 to 200 birds are left alive in the wild, but they are facing a major threat from linear infrastructure projects in Gujarat and Rajasthan, including the construction of roads, the existence of power lines and windmills, etc. This question has been asked because we have a related article in the Hindu. This article refers to an ongoing case at the Supreme Court related to the Great Indian Bustard. As discussed, these birds are threatened by power lines because they often collide with the power lines and they fall dead. Considering their small numbers and the wide variety of threats that they face, it has been listed as critically endangered by the IUCN. So, in order to protect this threatened species, a group of environmental activists had approached the Supreme Court to direct the power companies to shift the overhead power cables underground so that they do not pose a threat to these birds. But however, shifting all the power cables underground was found to be cost prohibitive, and at the same time, the Supreme Court has observed that installing alternative mechanisms such as flight bird diverters is also cost prohibitive. Hence, the Supreme Court has decided to take the middle path, and it has directed the power companies to shift all the overhead low voltage lines underground and set up flight bird diverters near high voltage power lines as they cannot be shifted underground. Now let's take up the fourth question. The Baralacha is a high mountain pass that connects Leh with Manali. Option B is the right answer. See, the Baralacha is a high mountain pass in the Zanskar range, and it connects the Lahore district in Himachal Pradesh with the Leh district in Ladakh, and it is located on the Leh-Manali highway. This question has been asked because we have an article in the Hindu that refers to the incredible efforts put in by the Border Roads Organization to keep the strategic Leh-Manali road open that passes through the Baralachala Pass. This highway and pass is of strategic significance because it is used by the Indian Army to carry out forward deployment into the Ladakh sector. Now let's take up a question from the 2016 Prelims paper. Which of the following is or are the tributaries of the Brahmaputra? Dibang, Kameng, Lohit. All the three are correct, so option D is the right answer. Please look at this map. The Dibang, Lohit and the Kameng, they all drain into the Brahmaputra and they form the important tributaries of the Brahmaputra river. Now coming to the fact of the day, we shall take up an important article from page number 10 of the Hindu newspaper and talk about a report that has been brought out by SIPRI, or the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. See, SIPRI is a Swedish think tank that specifically focuses on the global defense industry, and it studies the imports and exports of arms and weapons, and as well as the stockpiling of nuclear weapons. Since India is a major arms importer, the report of SIPRI and India's standing in the report can be important for prelims. According to this report, India's arms imports have decreased by 33% between the period 2011-15 and 2016-20. But despite this reduction, India continues to remain the second largest arms importer after Saudi Arabia. Now, such facts can be very important for prelims, and hence, let's also understand the top defense suppliers to India as per the findings of the SIPRI report. See, during both the periods of study, Russia has clearly stood out as the largest arms supplier to India. Then at the second position, we have France, and during this period, arms imports from France have increased by 709%, mainly because of the Rafale fighter jet deal and the missiles associated with it. So this makes France the second largest defense supplier for India for this period, especially between 2016 and 2020. But however, you need to take note of the reducing dependency of India on Russian imports. See, during the period 2011 to 2015, out of India's total imports, 70% of it came from Russia alone. But this has fallen to 49% for 2016-20, and overall, Russian imports have gone down by 53%. So this clearly indicates the reducing dependency of India on Russian arms imports, but still, Russia stands out as the largest arms supplier to India. Then after France, at the third position, we have Israel, whose arms exports to India have increased by 82% during these periods. Then at the fourth position, we have the United States, which earlier was the second largest arms supplier during this period, but it has slipped to the fourth position for the second period. So these are the top 4 defense suppliers to India. And even though India ranks as the second largest arms importer in the world, its arms imports have declined by 33% during this period. SIPRI estimates that this decline in arms imports is mainly because of the complex and lengthy procurement process, along with India's focused attempt to reduce its import dependency and promote defense indigenization. So this concludes our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.